It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh, I love that sound. Welcome back. Time for a little baby talk. Now, we're going to get serious, though, for a second. Choking is terrifying, yes, in its concept, but it's a very common cause of injury and, of course, death in infants. And today on Baby Talk, we've invited the lovely Ayesha Allies, an emergency care technician, to teach us exactly how to act quickly in the case of an infant or a child choking. We'll give you a demonstration. We've got the slightly freaky, admittedly, dolls here. Ayesha, great to have you here. Thank you so much for coming in. I am a parent now twice over, and this is something that absolutely terrifies me. We go through the first aid classes, but I don't think anything can really prepare you for that moment when it arrives because of the adrenaline and the fear. So the more you know and the more you can kind of wrap your head around it, I think is absolutely vital. Let's maybe start with some of the signs that your child might be in danger and choking might be the cause of that. What are the things to look out for?
Well, thank you for having me, Graham. So firstly, you could have a mild obstruction or you could have a severe obstruction. And things that you'll be looking out for is when the infant stops breathing and when they're making choking signs. So you can see the color change, you can see that they are struggling, and you can see they're attempting to cough, but nothing's moving. So you could have a mild obstruction where the infant coughs excessively and they can expel the object themselves. Whereas in a severe obstruction, that is when you actually have to act. And by acting, I will then perform a quick demonstration.
I really am so keen to see the practical elements of this. Just wanting to know, up to what age, is this for infant? Can this go up to a child of 3? I've actually also got a 3-year-old and a 4-month-old. What age will this technique be effective up to?
So we classify the infant as being from 0 to about 1 year old, and then the child from 1 year old up until puberty. But depending on the size of the child, you could perform this technique. So even for a child older than a year. But if the child is tall enough for you to stand behind them and perform the Heimlich maneuver, then so be it. But for the infant, under 1 year old.
Under 1 year old. Okay, well, let's get into the nitty-gritty of it.
Okay.
Have you named these babies?
I haven't. So it's acceptable for you to be seated in the chair, but it's preferred for you to be on the ground to just be closest to the ground.
Take it down.
So what you want to do is you want to grasp your baby. You can have one on you as well. So you can be seated.
Okay.
And I'll be on the ground. So you'd need to grasp the infant over your arm, support the face, as I have it here. And then you move the infant down to allow gravity to assist you expel the object.
Okay.
So what you want to do is you want to firmly apply 5 back slaps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Support the head. Turn the baby over your lap onto the other side. You will look in the mouth. So again, tuck the baby nicely in under your arm. Look in the mouth. Do you see the object? Only if you can see the object can you scoop it out to the side. Then you'll perform 5 chest thrusts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the back slaps and the chest thrust is to expel the object. If the object is not expelled, you'll perform that sequence again. Okay. Bear in mind that the infant is still awake at this point in time. So you'll do 5 back steps, and then over to the other arm, followed by other arm, 5 chest thrusts. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If the object is out, that would be where you can just turn the patient on the side. Okay? But if the object is still in the airway and the infant becomes unresponsive, that is when you have to lay the infant on the floor. At this point, you then call for help. Okay. So initially, you need to act immediately, but once the infant becomes unresponsive and you haven't expelled the object, lay the infant on a hard, flat surface, call for help, and then begin CPR, starting with chest compressions.
Okay, maybe you want to give us a demonstration of that.
Well, yeah, so after you've now assess that the patient is unresponsive, you'll call for help, dialing 112 as the emergency number. Expose the chest. You want to see where you're going to place your fingers. So just below the nipple line, you'll compress about 30 times. As a lay rescue, a single person, you will then compress with 2 fingers, counting from 1 to 30. After your 30 compressions, you'll then look in the airway. So you don't routinely look in the airway, but in the event of choking, you then look in the airway, and then you'll seal your mouth over the infant's nose and mouth when you administer breaths.
You breathe, okay.
Yeah. So
it's chilling to think of, but you've got to be able to do that. Can you just take us through those steps just one last time very quickly?
No problem.
For the choking element.
So in the event of choking, like I said, you want to be closest to the ground. You don't want to treat the infant standing while they are choking. So you move down to the ground, grasp the face firmly. And for your baby, you said 4 months. She might be a bit big, so you can tuck the infant underneath your arm as well, just to have a firm grip here. Because they can be quite large. They're not as light as these mannequins. So you lean him over your lap. 5 back slaps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Grasp the head over to the other arm. Tuck the infant in under your arm, and you have 5 chest thrusts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you look in the mouth. Very important that you just need to also be aware of. Try not to lift the arms when they're choking and slap because that could further lodge the object into the airway.
Okay.
People tend to think that they should do that.
What your first response would actually...
Yeah, and if you are backslapping while they are in an upright position, you could also further lodge the object in the airway. And when it comes to babies that are breastfeeding and they just ingesting milk, they could aspirate on the milk and not so much choke on the milk. So then what you can do is you can just turn the infant on their belly and allow the fluid to expel itself.
Let gravity do its thing, which
That's
seems to
it,
be the cause. Simple, effective. Thank you so much, Ayesha. That really has, I feel empowered. Hopefully that's helped you a little bit to feel empowered. I think the most important thing is act and act quickly. If this doesn't work, then you call someone. What's that number again?
112.
112.